This is Thunderblade, one of Sega's arcade classics, originally from 1987. This is the 1988 release for the 8-bit Sega Master System. Thunderblade, great name. I'm more familiar with the sequel, Super Thunderblade, which was a huge Sega Genesis game, and a great improvement over this one. Thunderblade is a cross between a top-down standard arcade-style shooter and a Space Harrier or Afterburner style, putting the camera behind your helicopter, flying into a three-dimensional environment shooter, and that's what separates Thunderblade from the majority of other shooters. And that also becomes its weakest element here on the Sega Master System, because the top-down shooter parts of this game aren't bad at all. They're really hard, and it's a lot like Xevious in that you don't upgrade your weapons, you're shooting and you're bombing enemies. Very straightforward. Your bomb also takes a moment or two to fire, and doesn't immediately reload, so that adds a bit of challenge to the game, getting rid of tanks. Here's the second part of the first level. The game mixes it up between the top-down shooting and this 3D style shooting. The problem here is that the Master System is just not really powerful enough to do this justice, so there's like 2 frames of animation when the enemy shoots at you. It's like small orange thing, big orange thing, dead. This style of gameplay, which really succeeds in Afterburner and Super Thunderblade, becomes the weak part of Thunderblade, because the top-down parts of this game are just interrupted by these sequences where you just basically dodge everything by moving in circles. Or you could just memorize it, but they're just not as good as the top-down shooting parts of the game. But the thing is, back in the day, they were awesome, because it was different. Without these scenes, Thunderblade is just another shooter, and they actually did succeed in capturing the whole Blue Thunder feeling when this game was new. Is it wrong that the only part of Blue Thunder that I really remember is the part where they're hovering outside that woman's apartment? I wish they could have captured that scene for this game. Look at those pixels! Yeah, Thunderblade is fun for the nostalgia, but the Sega Genesis is where these games came alive. If you've played Super Thunderblade and Afterburner 2 for years, it's tough to go back to some of the Sega Master System titles, which were older games. That's nice. It's always good to get killed by the last enemy on the level. It's like, here I am, oh, there's no one left. Alright, next level. Here's the pseudo-end-boss spaceship thing. I always wondered what this was. It's not very hard. That's not a very effective spaceship thing. The waves of helicopters in the first level are harder than that. Well, if you'd like to relive your youth and play Thunderblade on the Master System again, it's very easy to find and extremely affordable. In retrospect, I don't think it's one of the stronger Sega-produced titles for the Master System. I think they did a much better job with Outrun and Hang On. But Thunderblade is a complex title, especially for back then. Super Thunderblade is really the way to go, and that one's available on the PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360 Sonic's Ultimate Collection. I'm not entirely sure if Thunderblade, the original, was released for any other modern compilations. I checked online to find availability and did see that it's available for TurboGrafx 16 and Commodore 64. I'm playing this on the Power Base Converter, which is basically a master system for the Sega Genesis. This works with any standard Sega Genesis controller. I'm playing with the Super Pad using TurboFire because there's no TurboFire in Thunderblade. The thing uses a flintlock. And that's Thunderblade, an arcade classic from Sega. Not one of my favorites on the Master System, but if you want to relive the glory days when you kicked ass at Thunderblade, it's easy to find. Not as easy as I remember, though.